Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Markets at a Glance with Rufas Kamau, markets analyst at FX Pesa. So in this particular episode, we'll be focusing on what's happening in the market right now. So we'll be trying to understand what are the major news, what are the major shifts that have happened over the past week, what monetary policy are we expecting, and clearly try to understand where the market is headed. So the chart we're looking at right now is the US dollar index. As you can see, a couple of weeks ago, it was very weak, losing to the rest of the currencies. And then last week, it was majorly strong, going upwards. And then if you focus on today, it has majorly been going backwards after making some strong gains early in the morning. So yesterday was kind of mixed, out of noise moving up and down. Today was a clear direction in the morning, going up, then back downwards. And now, right as we started the New York session, there seems to be some more renewed strength entering the market. And this is the strength for the dollar. So if this particular curve or trend continues, then we'll continue seeing a much stronger dollar in the market. And this is basically having a negative effect on all the other markets. So a very interesting week to trade in. So first things first, let's look at the economic calendar. Just a moment. So clearly, it's a very busy week. We have had a lot of news, especially coming from last week. Remember, last week, this is when we were looking at the US jobs data. They came better than expected, and employment rate got smaller. Basically meaning that the US economy is indicating some good health. And this is basically boosting confidence that the Federal Reserve Bank of the US will go ahead and make another big rate hike, which could further strengthen the dollar, reduce liquidity in the market, and at the same time, weaken the stock markets. So looking at this week, the major news, claimant count change. This is the number of people claiming for unemployment insurance in the UK. Went really high from 1.1K the previous month to 25.5K in the UK, and this was huge. So at the same time, if you look at the unemployment rate, dropped from 3.6% to 3.5%. So it was a bit of mixed data for the UK. So the major news this week is one, there's a speech we're expecting later in the day from the Bank of England governor. This is 9:35 p.m. It will be very interesting, especially considering that the Bank of England decided to extend its bond purchase program earlier today, which was set to expire on 11th. Now they have pushed this to the 14th. So I'll just do a quick article here. It's available on The Guardian. So if you have some time, you can go through it. So Bank of England expands bond buying program to avoid a fire sale. So a very interesting article here. Hopefully it will give more insights on the direction that the Bank of England is taking. So I'll be trying to share the link on the live chat just to make sure everyone can access these. So back to the calendar, the most important news this week, in my opinion, is the news of US inflation data. So this is expected on Thursday, and this is when we'll be focusing on the CPI, or the Consumer Price Index, which is expected to change by 0.2% from the previous increase of 0.1%. So as for the annual inflation, remember it has been contracting, started with a top of about 9.1%, then went down to 8.5% in the previous month. So last month, we're expecting this to contract further down to 8.1%. So clearly, this is for the month of September. So in August, it was 8.3. In July, it was 8.5. And in June, it was 9.1%. So it's a move in the right direction. So if inflation continues weakening, then perhaps the Fed will start reducing on the amount that they are pumping into the rate hikes. So if inflation is rapidly approaching 2%, then they would consider reducing the rate hikes. However, if inflation number is higher than the previous month, then it will be a red flag, and it could contribute to a much stronger rate hike later in the month. And this is something that investors are clearly waiting for, and it could cause a lot of volatility in the markets. So you have to be very careful when you're trading this week, considering the US CPI on Thursday at 3:30 p.m. So later on, we'll be looking at the Chinese CPI, also very important. We need to know the inflation in China and how it's progressing. This will be happening on Friday at 4:30 a.m. So remember, the previous inflation, that is annual inflation, was 2.5%. This is expected to increase to 2.8%. So any major shift would also cause volatility in the markets. And lastly, as we approach the end of the week, we'll be looking at the retail sales in the US, and this will be on Friday, 3:30 p.m. So the previous reading was a drop of negative 0.3%. We're expecting the US customer to weaken a little bit by 0.1% in the previous month. So also a key data point, especially for the Fed, when it's making its decision on whether to hike interest rates and by how much to hike interest rates. So a very interesting week as we progress halfway. So that being said, there's also some news in stocks. We have some news regarding Coinbase. So Coinbase is one of the biggest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world, has a license in the US, and also it's a public company, meaning that you can trade its shares. So the trade name for the shares is Coin. If you do a simple Google, is a Coin, is the ticker symbol. So Coin or Coinbase Global has been trading for a while now in the New York Stock Exchange. So as you can see, before the market opens, it's already up 3.67%. So there have been news in the market that are affecting these sudden rise. So one of the news is as a result of a new partnership with Google. So Google selects Coinbase to take cloud payments with the cryptocurrencies and will use its custody tool that is Coinbase. So technically, what's happening is that Google is expanding its payments infrastructure such that if you want to pay for cloud services, then you can pay using cryptocurrencies, and the wallet of choice for Google in this case is Coinbase. So if you have a Coinbase account, then you can use your coins to buy storage or any other service on Google Cloud. So that's basically it for Coinbase, and also they have a new license. I think Coinbase new license should be somewhere in the news. Yes, so Coinbase announced earlier today that it has a new license to operate in Singapore, and this is really boosting its shares. So we're expecting some level of volatility as the market opens. This has already happened, so we'll be looking at an update. So as the market opens, we'll be looking to see some volatility in Coinbase shares. So that being mentioned, if you look at the markets, that is the currencies markets, you look at the majors, they are all correlated to the dollar index. So as long as the dollar is strengthening, then they are weakening, and if it's weakening, then they are strengthening. So the recent pullback that we have seen here in the past couple of hours, that the dollar index was weakening, then all these other currencies were strengthening. So if you look at Euro USD and you look at the 1 hour chart, then you notice that earlier in the day, it was majorly going up. This was the rise that you've been seeing for quite a good part of the day. So in early morning trading, Euro USD was losing, now gaining, and now it seems like as we enter the New York session, the dollar is retaking its strength, and we could see that some continuation towards the direction of the dollar. So in this case, if the dollar continues strengthening, then a push further down, perhaps towards the previous low. So a very interesting perspective. So we'll be observing this, especially with the US dollar index as an indicator. So the same case is happening to all these other currencies. So if you look at the pound and what has been happening, you'll notice that in early morning trading, it was going down. Then later on, during the London session, the dollar was weakening. And now as we enter the New York session, there's a good chance we could see the markets reversing. However, there's also the possibility the dollar continues weakening for the rest of the day. And if that happens, then the pound continues gaining, perhaps even to this particular high level around here. So a very interesting data point here. If the pound continues strengthening against the US dollar, then 1.12213 is an interesting target. And also, if the dollar gains strength right away, then the low of the day seems like a nice target, especially considering that the dollar could be strengthening and reversing all the early morning trends that we have experienced during the day. So as for Bitcoin, similar case. So you'll notice that it's same thing. Bitcoin has been losing against the dollar. Early morning it was losing. Then during the New York session it was gaining, and now it seems like it's moving in the opposite direction. So now, if you look at the S&P 500, that is the indicator or the broader market indicator showing how the stocks are performing in the US. Then you'd notice that it's a similar correlation. Early morning it was losing. Then part of the mid session, that is around the London session, it was gaining. And now, as the dollar seems to be gaining strength, seems like the trend is changing. So it seems like the overall market indicator seems to be the dollar index. So as the dollar strengthens, it's strengthening across all markets, basically influencing a majority of the trends, especially for the pairs with the dollar. So if you look at the US 500, it's with the dollar. If you look at the major currencies, it's with the dollar, Euro USD, Bitcoin USD, Pound USD, and so on. So one last item to check is on oil before we end the session. So let's start with Brent oil. So as you can see, Brent has been pretty strong. One of the fundamentals supporting this growth is the announcement last week by the OPEC Plus countries, basically saying that they will be cutting production by 2 million barrels per day, and this is bound to squeeze prices to the upper side. So facing a slowing global economy, demand is also being affected, and this is contributing to lower oil prices. But at the same time, OPEC Plus benefits more when prices are high up. So by cutting production, they're looking to stimulate prices towards the upper side and get to benefit from strong oil markets. So in this case, if you look at the chart for Brent oil, clearly after the announcement, you can see a very sharp rise in oil, moving towards $100. Didn't get quite there, managed to top somewhere around $97.787 per barrel before pulling back. So yesterday was clearly bearish. The market opened the week going downwards, meaning that oil prices were contracting. Today seems like a continuation. Before some rally happened somewhere in the London session. So for 4 straight hours, the oil prices were strengthening, but now it seems to have resumed. So it seems like the overall theme for the week is that the oil markets start weakening again after hitting a high of $97.787 per barrel. So it seems like we have hit a high, and now the oil prices continue with the overall trend. So the overall trend on the daily chart is very clear. Seems like the market is continuously moving downwards since hitting these highs here. So remember when oil was trading at $130 per barrel. So since then, you can see that we have maintained to see lower lows and same time lower highs, basically implying a bearish trend. So if this trend particularly continues, then it seems like a very nice topping pattern here. So we could see some potential continuation further down where oil prices could be headed back down to 83. So 83 level is the level we saw here bouncing, actually 82.458. So potentially we could see oil continuing to drop further down. So we have seen in the UK, it's quite a challenge. Also in the US, they have been drawing a lot of oil from the strategic oil reserve. It's at an all-time low. So in this case, the only factor that I see that could potentially drive oil prices lower is a slowdown in manufacturing activity, a slowdown in economic activity as a result of the rate hikes that are basically pulling liquidity out of the markets. So if the Fed and the Bank of England continue hiking interest rates, then this could pull a lot of liquidity out of the market, and this could drive oil prices lower as a result of having lower demand in the economy. So that being mentioned, I would like to check quickly, see if there's any questions before we end the session. So a good question. Hey bro, can I trade from Europe? Yes, absolutely. You can register for an account with FX Pesa and get that account verified as quickly as possible. And then you get to start trading from wherever you are in the world. So if you're in Europe, you should not be worried. So I should be sending you a link. to simply register and start trading. If you're very new, then you should probably go through the education first. We have a free course available on YouTube. So you just click on this particular channel, go to Novice to Pro series, go through all the beginner lessons. And once you practice and are comfortable, then you can proceed and get into trading a live account. So I registered, but I can't get the message because I'm in Finland. Don't know how to handle this. Would you mind sending an email or calling one of our numbers? You should be able to find a live chat section on our website. So all you have to do, let's try and do this. Just go to your browser, type fxpesa.com, go to the home page, and then click on the live support button here. And then you can type your query here and we'll get a live update on your query. So good question. What will confirm dollar strength or weakness in London? I'm looking at the major indicators that you're expecting this week. So one of them is the CPI. So if inflation is going higher, then the Fed might continue hiking interest rates, and this would confirm that we're expecting a much stronger dollar going forward. However, if inflation is moving in the right direction, then the Fed could release gas, and in this case, we could be seeing a weaker dollar. So key data points are in the US data this week. So send you a message on Telegram. I will be responding to that right after this. All right. So as for today, I don't think there's any other news we're expecting. Nothing huge. As you can see, there's IMF meetings happening all over the week. There will be a speech from an MPC member in the UK. There will be also a speech from Miesta at 7 p.m. in the US. This could cause some volatility in the markets. Then SNB chairman, that is Switzerland, Swiss National Bank, MPC member, Canliff in UK, and also BOE Governor Bailey speaking at 9:35 p.m. So it seems like a day when there's a lot of speeches happening all at the same time. So you might be a little bit careful while trading, because one slight comment has the potential to cause a lot of volatility in US, Switzerland, and UK pairs. So you have to be a little bit careful when you're trading for the rest of the day. So thank you very much, guys. I hope to see you on the next session. Remember, this is episode 1. So we will be doing this on each and every Tuesday, same time, 4 p.m. Try to understand what's happening around the markets, what's new. And once you grab this information, then you can look for potential ideas to trade in the markets. So thank you very much, guys. See you on the next session.